Hi folks, this is the second part of the truck cap story. This involves a little of investigation and interrogation. This is the truck cap story, part 2. The Dallas Division office called my house. They had information from an informant. They gave me a description of a pickup truck used in a deer shooting and possible location. Alrighty then. I called Roy. He was living on Redfield Street in Tunkhannock at the time. It was early evening when I picked him up. We headed for the southeast corner of the county. I had looked at the county map to find the road with the possible location of the pickup truck. In about a half hour or so, we found the road. About a half mile down the road on the east side, there was a house with the appropriate name on the mailbox, and the pickup was in the driveway. I pulled in the driveway, and Roy and I got out with our flashlights and took a look in the bed of the truck. Yep, the tailgate and the back half of the bed was pretty well covered with blood and splotches of what appeared to be and felt like white deer belly hair. I got in the habit of carrying a couple small paper bags and envelopes in my equipment box. Using my trusty old-timer pocket knife, I scraped some of the blood and hair and deposited it in a small envelope and put it in my pocket. Using paper works best as it doesn't condensate or leach chemicals like plastic. Roy and I then knocked on the back door. A nice friendly lady answered the door. We were in uniform, but we identified ourselves and explained that we needed to talk to the owner or driver of the pickup. She invited us in, and we took a seat at the kitchen table. She stated that she owned the truck, but her son Tony drove it most of the time. I asked his age. He was 17. Also, I asked if he was out and about the last few nights. He was. I told her we needed to talk to Tony. It turns out he was just down the road at a friend's house. She got on the phone and called over and told him he needed to come home right away, as it was important. She did not tell him why. Pretty soon, we heard a car out front and a door slam. Tony came in the back door, as we had. From then on, the conversation got interesting. I asked Tony to explain the blood and hair in the back of the truck. He said he and his friends butchered a pig. I asked the location of the meat. In the freezer, down cellar. Now, keep in mind, this was a 17-year-old high school jock with all the smart-ass answers. It was time to lean on him a little. I took the envelope out and told him that between Roy and I, we had about 25 years handling deer. And I asked him, "Are you sure you want to stick to the pig story, or do I have to take this blood and hair sample to the crime lab for verification?" He gave me the "you need a search warrant to take something out of my truck" spiel. I explained the exception of something being in plain sight. Also, that if we had a need to search the cab of the truck and he refused to sign a waiver form, one of us would stay with the truck and the other would go to the magistrate's office and secure a search warrant, not only for the truck, but the house as well. Now Mom realizes this is getting serious. She asked him, "Tony, is that meat you put in the freezer pork or not?" There was silence for a few seconds, and then here it comes. "No, Mom, I shot a deer." Mom about blew a gasket. We got things calmed down, and then I explained the legal options. Number 1, he could settle the fine on a field acknowledgement of guilt. That is a serial number form that I was assigned and signed for from the Division of Law Enforcement. Each one was strictly accounted for. Number 2, if he didn't have the $500 to pay and fine in full by check or money order, I would issue him a citation. I would give him a copy, and the next day I would file it at the magistrate's office. He would then go to the magistrate with his copy and sign a form pleading guilty at that time. The difference being he would be responsible to court administration fees totaling $37.50 along with the fine. He was working, so I told him to set up a payment plan acceptable to him, Mom, and the magistrate. Make your payments religiously, and when you have it paid off, and that'll be that. If you fail to make payments, the magistrate will find it necessary to send me a bench warrant, and I'll have to come and arrest you and take you to the judge. You could possibly end up in St. Michael's detention for a while. So just pay it off and get out from under it. That's what good men do when they make a mistake. Mom was okay with that and thanked us for bringing all this to her attention. Tony would be at the magistrate right after school the next day. As we were leaving out the back door, I saw something in the backyard. I shined my light on it. There was the tan wood-framed truck cap with the vertical diamond pattern sitting on some cinder blocks. With my light still on the cap, I looked Tony right in the eyes. Then he realized we had an encounter once before. Mom kept her word. He went in and pled guilty, and they set up a plan. We never heard any more about him pulling any stunts or any more night shooting in that area. And this is the end of the part 2 of the truck cap story. All the best, everyone.